Many people stand in front of modern paintings or sculptures and feel confused, even frustrated. The reaction is often the same. The figures look distorted, the colors seem chaotic, and the work can appear unfinished or childlike. Viewers wonder how something that does not look realistic can be considered serious art, let alone be valued at tens of thousands of euros. The confusion comes from using the expectations of older art to judge modern art. For centuries, Western art was built around the idea of representing reality as beautifully and accurately as possible. Artists trained for years to master anatomy, perspective, light, and proportion. Religious scenes, mythology, and portraits of rulers dominated. Skill, beauty, and storytelling were the main goals. This system worked until the 19th century, when photography changed everything. A camera could capture reality more accurately and more quickly than any painter. Artists faced a crisis. If machines could record the visible world, what was the role of painting? Modern art grew from that question. Instead of competing with photography, many artists turned inward. Art shifted away from showing how the world looks and began exploring how the world feels. Emotions, anxiety, identity, sexuality, trauma, and social tension became central subjects. Reality stopped being purely external and became psychological. This explains why modern figures often look wrong. In movements such as Expressionism and later Neo-Expressionism, distorted bodies and exaggerated features are deliberate. The artist is not claiming that this is how a body appears in real life, but how it feels to live in a modern world, vulnerable, pressured, exposed, and unstable. The image is emotional rather than anatomical. The same logic applies to works that resemble children's drawings or graffiti. Some modern artists rejected academic polish because they believed that perfection could hide emotional truth. By borrowing the visual language of street art, comics, and outsider art, they challenged the idea that art must look refined to be meaningful. The roughness becomes part of the message. Human experience is messy, not elegant. Large, brightly colored sculptures of exaggerated human figures also follow this pattern. These works often emphasize physical presence, energy, and confidence rather than classical ideals of slimness or stillness. The size and color create impact and celebration, presenting the human body as powerful and joyful instead of fragile or idealized. They are visual statements about identity, freedom, and self-expression. What connects these very different works is a shared purpose. Modern and contemporary art often moves away from decoration and toward reflection. Instead of simply beautifying a space, it asks questions about modern life, about how people experience society, technology, relationships, and themselves. The visual language can seem chaotic because it mirrors a world that feels fast, fragmented, and emotionally complex. The price of such art is not based on prettiness alone. Value often depends on the artist's place in art history, their influence on later movements, recognition by museums and critics, and the role their work played in changing how art is understood. In this sense, a major modern artwork can be compared to a first edition of a book that reshaped literature. It represents a turning point in cultural thinking. Understanding modern art does not require liking it. It requires shifting the question. Instead of asking whether it looks realistic, it helps to ask what emotion or idea the artist is trying to communicate, and what part of modern life the work is responding to. Modern art may not aim to please the eye in the traditional way, but it aims to engage the mind and emotions. Once viewed in that light, the confusion begins to turn into context.